Welcome back. In today's video, I'm going over my 2018 Texas Senate race prediction between Democratic challenger Beto O'Rourke and the incumbent Republican Ted Cruz. But before I go into the numbers, I'd like to ask you to participate in a poll that I'm doing over on my Twitter page. If you'd like to participate, I'll link this poll down in the video description as well as down in the comment section. Just simply click on the link and then you can cast your ballot. And I'm asking, who would you vote for in this Senate race between O'Rourke and Cruz? I just released this poll. Only 10 people have casted a ballot thus far. I'm just kind of interested in seeing how the people who watch this video would end up voting. So if you want to see how those results are playing out, you can check it over there through those links. So now jumping in to the numbers that I want to go over, starting with the 2012 Senate election race. So this is the last time around that Ted Cruz was running. You can see he won by a rather significant margin here by a little more than 1.2 million votes. And this was a presidential election year, and you can see the turnout was about 49.7% of voting eligible Texans went out and casted a ballot. This is a midterm year, so you expect less voter turnout. You can see Cruz getting about 4.4 million votes, his Democratic challenger about 3.2 million votes, and Cruz going on and winning by about 16 percentage points 6 years ago. And now going on over to the midterms of 2014, Republican John Cornyn going on and winning. But as you can see, a midterm year, significantly less turnout, about a 33.1% turnout in 2014 in comparison to that 49.7% turnout in 2012. And the fact that we're in a midterm year with less turnout, that means if your voting base has significantly more enthusiasm to go out and cast a ballot, that can be to your benefit, and that should likely help O'Rourke at the end of the day as he tries to close this margin and maybe even get over the line and pick up the upset victory. We'll see how that has an effect. I think that we could probably get over a 40% turnout in this midterm, which would be significantly more than last go around, maybe even approaching a little bit shy of what you would see in a presidential year. Again, going to be interesting to see how that data plays out. But as you can see, in the midterms in 2014, Cornyn getting 2.8 million votes in comparison to Cruz, who got 4.4 million votes 2 years prior in that presidential year. So that means that Cruz is likely to get a lot less votes than what he got in 2012. So the margin to make up for O'Rourke is going to be a little bit less in general. But also on top of that, if you get less turnout on the Republican side, you're also going to typically get that on the Democrat side. It's just making up that difference with the enthusiasm gap potentially to help out O'Rourke's cause. So now going over to the polling data, and I'm going to go over the last 2 months of polls in this race. Every single poll is basically within the margin of error, other than 2 polls from Quinnipiac. They're a little bit outlying in comparison to the rest of the polls that we're getting. So as you can see here, Cruz up by 3 points, 4 points, 3 points, even O'Rourke up 2, and then a Quinnipiac poll where Cruz is up by 9 points, and then Cruz up by 4 points, 3 points, 1 point, 4 points, 4 points, and then another Quinnipiac poll where he's up by 6 points, and then wrapping things up where he's up by 2 points. So as you can see, it's an extremely close race, and that's why this one has gone to likely Republican or solid Republican all the way down to lean Republican. It's because that voter data and polling has this right around the margin of error. And Cruz, he has the incumbency advantage, of course, and he's able to raise a lot of money because there's a lot of corporate PACs that he gets money from. O'Rourke not taking that corporate PAC money, so that's kind of an uphill battle for him. But I've never seen anything like it with what O'Rourke has been able to do in terms of raising small dollar donations and basically keeping about even or even outraising Cruz with those small dollar donations, kind of like Bernie Sanders was able to do back in 2016 against Hillary Clinton. Kind of a similar type of dynamic there between O'Rourke and Cruz in terms of how they're doing their fundraising. So now I want to go over and just take a look at the Senate map over here at 538. And currently, with their classic model, they have O'Rourke with a 3 in 10 chance to win this one. Cruz at a 7 in 10 chance, so O'Rourke about a 31.1%. And as you can see, that forecasted vote share has O'Rourke within about a 3 percentage point gap. And considering that this is a very Republican state, so that's baked into this number, as well as the incumbency advantage for Ted Cruz is also baked into this number. And the fact that he's only ahead by 3 points is not the greatest sign of strength, clearly, for Cruz in this matchup. So now I'm going to get into my final prediction. So this is the toughest Senate matchup that I have to predict out of all of them. And there's a lot of really tough ones to predict because my head is saying Ted Cruz. he's going to win. It's the state of Texas. It's very Republican. But then my gut is saying that O'Rourke is going to be able to pull this one off because Ted Cruz has really bad favorable numbers. He's one of the least favorable current senators in Congress right now. So that's playing against Cruz, obviously. But then O'Rourke, he's got very strong grassroots support behind him. He's going to get a lot of people enthusiastic to go out and vote. Kind of the exact opposite situation you had in the 2016 election, where there just wasn't that voter enthusiasm behind Hillary Clinton's candidacy in comparison to those loyal Trump supporters who were very enthusiastic about going out and casting a ballot. I think, again, it's kind of a flip scenario here where there's tremendous enthusiasm behind O'Rourke's candidacy in comparison to Ted Cruz, and that can have a positive effect, specifically in a midterm year where you generally get weaker turnout than in a presidential year. That can be a big factor as well for O'Rourke. So at the end of the day, like I said, my head is saying Ted Cruz, my gut is saying O'Rourke. I'm going to stick with my gut in this situation. I feel like he's going to continue to be able to close this gap over the next month or so leading up to the primaries, and I think that vast increase in enthusiasm on the Democrat side and the fact that O'Rourke is winning Latinos in the state of Texas by about a 2-to-1 margin over Cruz is going to be enough to just push him over the line at the end of the day. And no matter what happens, I see this as probably being within about 1 or 2 percentage points, either one way or the other. Can't wait to see how it plays out. But again, I'm just siding with O'Rourke in this one, going with my gut, and that he's going to be able to pull this one out at the end of the day. So again, guys, thanks for stopping in for today's video, and I encourage you to participate in this poll that I'm doing over on my Twitter page. I'll link it down in the video description as well as down in the comment section if you want to cast your own ballot in this race and see how the percentages are playing out over the coming week. So thanks for stopping on in. Subscribe for more. Hope to see you guys back here for future videos.